Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome to another Pokemon video here on the channel. This is actually a new series again here on the channel. I know we have a lot of different series going on, but yeah, I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing, right? I definitely plan to keep on top of all of them, so that's personally don't think that's an issue. Anyways, today's video is actually going to be the first, like I mentioned, of a Pokemon Showdown not Wi-Fi battles, but Showdown battles series. And this is actually something that I've put together with some friends. We actually have a Discord server. Link will be down in the description. Please do join, by the way, the link to join that server, where we've actually just come and created our own gyms. And I gotta stop checking, but yeah, we've actually gone and created our own gyms. So the way this server works is there are some general rules that as gym leaders we need to obey, and there are some rules that as challengers you will need to obey as well, provided you actually do want to join. Again, feel free to do so. Link once again in the description. But long story short, all battles on the server will be Gen 8 National Dex battles. For the most part, there is some leniency for this. Like, gym leaders are allowed to say that specifically their gyms are limited to the Dexit, as we have it in Pokemon Sword and Shield. But honestly, like that comes with certain issues, and I can only imagine most people wouldn't want to do that for reasons that'll become clear here just in a second. But what this means, Gen 8 National Dex, is that there is no Dynamax available, and in that format, at least on Showdown. And I don't know if this is true for the following, but as we have also removed them, so there will be no Dynamax, no Megas, no Z moves, and no Ultra Beasts. As well as, of course, no legendaries or mythical Pokemon. So what that does is that creates for lack of a better word, a more standardized playing field, a more traditional playing field, which, to be honest, so far, having battled a couple people and having had a good amount of battles already happen between the different gym leaders, it's off to a really good start, and I think we're really doing something really good here with this format. The one downside to this format is that there are certain moves, such as Baton Pass, which actually are not allowed as per the Gen 8 National Dex rulings. And honestly, I don't like that. I think every move should be allowed, like moves like Baton Pass. There isn't really any reason, but that's just the case for right now, and it doesn't matter in today's. But actually, I think it came into play in today's battle, although I'm not sure exactly how. I know it wasn't Baton Pass, there was some other move, but I'm not sure which move it was. It wasn't on my team, as you'll see here in a second. But it did come up. But this is something we have yet to discuss on the server. If anyone on the server is seeing this, then yeah, tell me what you guys think over in the Discord, or even in the comments on this video. And because I'm sure we can find a workaround for that, But anyways, so the way we've established these teams, and the reason that I do think Gen 8 National Dex is the way to go, is because basically, it's to add us a bit of a twist. We don't just have a team of 6, or we can't just use any random Pokemon from our type. For example, I'm the Bug Gym, but I can't just use any random Bug type I want. Every single gym leader has to present to each other and to every challenger in pinned. So like each gym is a channel over on Discord, and we have we just have pinned these. We have to present these rosters, this is what I'm trying to say. We have these rosters pinned to our channel, to the gym channel, which are a 12-mon roster, 12-mon list of our type that we can bring in any combination to any battle. So what this does is, for one, it evens out the playing field a little bit. It allows the challengers to kind of have some idea of what we could do, but it also allows us to have the versatility to be like, actually, I don't feel like using this team, or I think they might expect this kind of strategy, so let's actually do this thing instead. Now, on top of those 12 mons, we also have a bonus 4 Pokemon that are not of our type, of which we can only ever bring 2 to any single battle, but not to any regular challenger battles, only to battles between the different gym leaders. So let me show you guys what I mean here. You can see this is my roster. I am the Bug type gym, like I said. So this was my roster for at the time of this battle. I actually went and I'm now realizing my cursor's not showing, which is actually really annoying. How can I change that? How can I change that? I'm not sure that I can. I don't think I can. Well, whatever. There isn't going to be. I was hoping to have the cursor for this, but it doesn't seem. You can see there's a colossal. Just actually right here. Just right here, there's a colossal. I actually went ahead and replaced this colossal in my roster for a chandelure. But anyways, what does this 12 mon roster mean? So you can see here I have 12 over. This is hard because the camera over there we have 12 bug types, right? Yanmega, Vivillon, Rabombi, Heracross, Fortress, Scizor, Volcarona, Galvantula, what's that thing called? Araquanid, Frosmoth, Orbeetle, and Armaldo. So these are my 12 Pokemon of my type. So against any non-gym leader challenger, I can only ever bring 6 of those 12 mons. And any combination I want, again, but only 12 of those 6. But now you can see down here, I have Rotom, Espeon, Colossal, and Empoleon. And these these 4 I can bring any 2 of, like I mentioned, specifically only against gym leaders. I know I've already said this, but it can be a little confusing because we're doing something a little extra here with all this. So again, against gym leaders, I can bring 2 of any of these 4. In addition to 4 of my bugs, I need at least 4 of the Pokemon of my own type. And against you guys, I'll only ever be able to bring bug types, a full team of bug types. So the idea is you build a very well-balanced roster just to, be able to tackle any situation and be unpredictable as hell. And then you complete it with these bonus 4s so that, for example, I'd be super weak against fire types, right? Because obviously I'm a bug type. So that's why I have Rotom, or flying types for that matter. And again, that's why I have Rotom. Or steel types, because steel resists Buck. And again, I have Rotom or Colossal, or Chandelure in the future. But for this battle at the time, I did have Colossal in the roster, which again is why Colossal is there. Or, I have a problem with Stealth Rocks. Even though I have a Fortress and a Scizor that can get Defog, I also have an Espeon and an Empoleon against other gym leaders. That kind of thing. But okay, I think that pretty much clears up what we're doing here. Once again, link to the Discord server is down in the description. Please join. We are awaiting challengers. So by all means, come and have some fun. All battles do get recorded, and I'll be uploading the best ones here on YouTube. So, Anyways, so this was my roster at the time, and this is going to be a battle against the Poison Gym. So here was the Poison Gym's roster. You can see he has Crobat, Gengar, Toxapex, Muk, Alolan Muk, of course. What is that? Dragalge, Venusaur, Salazzle, Roserade, Scolipede, Nidoking, Toxtricity, and Toxicroak. And then his bonus 4 were Ferrothorn, Gliscor, Hydreigon, and Slowking. Now, basically, I can only really address when doing these videos, because I'm not only going to do these for battles that I participated in. There are some really, really, really good battles that have gone on between, of course, the other members of the server, and I believe I'm the only one with a YouTube channel, so I'll be doing commentary on those battles as well. But for right now, I'm going to give you guys my perspective of how I approach this, because, of course, I can't really speak for my opponent, although I'll do my best to try. So immediately looking at his team, first things first, I'm always assuming the Crobat's coming, because it's a flying type, I'm the bug type gym, and I'm always assuming that the Salazzle is coming, because again, I'm a bug type gym, and that's a fire type. Now the others were I was kind of unsure about. I figured, none of his main roster can actually do Stealth Rocks, right? So I figured the Fortress and probably the Gliscor would come as well. Although, kind of spoilery, but whatever, he didn't actually bring the Gliscor in the end, which I was very thankful for, because I honestly just didn't have an answer to it. But anyways, I figured out one of those 2 at least would have to come, because he would want Stealth Rocks against me. Now, on that note, also, besides the Crobat and the Salazzle, I actually kind of ignored this, but it kind of got on the back of my mind. There is that Muk there, which is only neutral to Bug, but it does get stuff like Fire Punch. So that could have been, again, it was very, very much back of my mind, but that could have, again, come into play. So how did I approach this? Well, first things first, I needed something he's the Poison type gym, so I needed one of my Bug steel types because, but steel is immune to poison. So I decided to go with Scizor because Scizor does in fact get defog, and like I said, I expected him to either bring Fortress or the Gliscor here. And by the same logic, I went with Empoleon because Empoleon also gets defog, and again, it's a steel type, so it's immune to poison. And just having Scald there, potentially allowing me to deal with that Salazzle more easily, burning that Crobat, burning even that Muck or whatever. It was good. I think I went with, it's been a while since I actually did these battles, by the way, so bear with me, but I think I actually did go with Leftovers Empoleon with Skull, Knockoff. It was a weird set, because I nearly gave it Toxic, forgetting it was the Poison Gym. But then that Gliscor was going to be a problem because of that Empoleon. Although, again, I think Scald from an Empoleon does a good amount of damage to the Gliscor. I went with specially defensive Empoleon, however, because he does have stuff, again, like the Salazzle, or the Toxtricity, that could, or even the Gengar, that could pose some issues for the Empoleon. I didn't think he'd bring either Grass type, because I am the Bug type gym, and I honestly didn't really expect stuff like Scolipede. I was quite worried about Dragalge, because it does resist my stab, and it's really bulky specially. And you can see most of my roster is actually special attackers, because turns out most bug types are actually good special attackers. So I think I have, 4 physical attackers, right? In Heracross, Scizor, Araquanid, and Armaldo. It's still a good amount, mind you, but yeah. So that was what I figured there. Now, again, because he is the poison type gym, naturally I wanted to bring the Espeon. And because that Muck is there, and because that Hydreigon were there, because my original set for this was going to be, this is before I knew Baton Pass couldn't be a thing, by the way, but it was going to be Psychic, Calm Mind, Substitute, Baton Pass. And I actually replaced Baton Pass in the end with Dazzling Gleam, because of, again, that Hydreigon and that Muck. But yeah, again, also because Stealth Rocks, I definitely had to bring the Espeon, right? So I figured I would, okay, let's just bring the Espeon. So that's 3 of my Pokemon down immediately. So I'm bringing the Scizor, the Empoleon, and the Espeon. And that's my 2 of these special 4 down here taken care of. So now I can't bring either the Rotom or the Colossal, but any of the other bug types are still up for grabs. So again, he is the poison type gym, so I figured, okay, I'm just going to bring Orbeetle. I'm going to make it max HP, max speed, and just give it Reflect and Light Screen, give it the Light Clay, make it bulky, make it hard to take out, nice and simple. So that was the Orbeetle. Of course, gave it Psychic, and I actually can't remember its last move. I can't recall its last move. I don't. Oh, I think I gave it Sticky Web just because. Because why not? I could like that slot was there. And okay, so now again, that's 5 of my Pokemon sorted out. I believe. No, sorry, that's only 4. That's only 4. And then so then I had 2 slots left. Now, that kind of left me with a bit of a question mark here, right? Oh, actually, I don't think my roster had Heracross at the time, now that I think about it. I'm not sure. It probably did. It probably did. Because these rosters they are liable to change, just not while we have a pending battle challenge. So I can't actually recall when I've made the changes to them, but yeah. But anyways, so after that, I figured, okay, how do I actually win the game, though? Because so far I deal with his stuff pretty well, but how do I actually win the game? If he brings off Fortress, how do I actually kill the Fortress? And same goes for example, the Toxapex, both grass types, even the Dragalge. And I figured, actually, the easiest way to win this game is just Volcarona, because Volcarona is a monster. So I went with, of course, a Quiver Dance Volcarona with heavy-duty boots. So in case I wasn't able to keep the Stealth Rocks out of the field, the Volcarona was still a viable win condition there. And yeah, that was just my Volcarona set. Again, heavy-duty boots, Quiver. I think I gave it Fiery Dance and Bug Buzz. I don't honestly know why I gave it Bug Buzz, just because, look, it was actually really stupid. Because, well, I mean, I guess actually no, I take it back, because Bug Buzz, I think it's better option against Muck. It does more damage than, for example, Hidden Power Ground, but Fiery Dance does less damage than Bug Buzz as well. So I figured I gave it Bug Buzz specifically for those dark types. And then I gave it Psychic, because Volcarona does get Psychic, and again, his entire team is poison. And then I had that final slot, and my team doesn't really love that muck still to this point, and it honestly doesn't really deal that well with just most of his, like a lot of his Pokemon, because if he just happens to be faster than me and I can't really take a hit because I do have bug types, then I'm pretty fucked to come back. So I figured, okay, well, let's go with Assault Vest or Maldo then. Um, Again, I wish I could just, point with my cursor, but it doesn't seem like I can, so I apologize, guys. So let's go with Assault Vest Armaldo here, and clean up, like not clean up, but be able to take a hit, and then Armaldo actually gets Earthquake and Aqua Jet. So between this, the defensive, oh, I didn't specify, yeah, the Scizor was physically defensive, by the way. Max HP, max defense. So between the Scizor and the Armaldo, now I have two Pokemon with priority, and I have an Assault Vest Armaldo that hits like a truck. So I figured that was pretty set. So all in all, yeah, those were my six then. Scizor, Scizor, Empoleon, Espeon, Volcarona, Armaldo, and Orbeetle. Now, when it comes to my opponent's team here, and this is taking actually a little longer than I would want it to, but when it comes to my opponent's team here, if I were him, what would I have brought against me, basically, is what I'm going to do here real quick. I would have 100% brought that Gliscor. I do have the Rotom Wash, and I do have the Frosmoth. But that being said, looking at my options, I don't really see myself bringing either one, right? Frosmoth doesn't do much against most of his team, at least in comparison with my other Pokemon. And just him having that defensive bulk, I think would have actually been really useful. But also, I can understand why he wouldn't. I mean, I have an Araquanid, I have a Frosmoth. I can see, and I have a lot of special attackers. I can see why he would hesitate to bring Gliscor for sure. Now, the Fortress, again, like I said, I did expect the Fortress to come because Stealth Rocks, because Rapid Spin, because all that nonsense that Fortress does. And I think I actually have addressed it. Crobat was always coming, Salazzle was always coming. Now, I feel like I do have the upper hand here, just because most bug types get psychic type moves. So if I were him, I would have thrown a wild card into the mix here, with, for example, let me think. Maybe a Nidoking, honestly. A Nidoking with like Flamethrower and stuff, or yeah, pretty much. Honestly, it's kind of hard. It's a hard matchup to begin with, but I really expected that Dragalge to come as well, which is part of the reason I did bring the Armaldo with Earthquake, is because you can't get through a Dragalge with special attacks. But yeah, I expected him to bring that Dragalge and that Crobat. I did not expect the Toxapex. I did not expect the Scolipede, and I did not expect, and I kind of expected Hydreigon as well, because Scarf Hydreigon with Flamethrower and Surf actually covers my team pretty well. But I think that's pretty much it. I expected the Muck, kind of. I expected a Dark type of some sort, which in this case would happen to be the Muck. But yeah, I think that's pretty much all I have to say here. So again, final time I'm saying this, link to this Discord server is down in the description. I am the Bug-type gym, but by all means, challenge any gym you'd like. All our rosters are up. Our bonus 4 do not apply to you guys. They only apply to each other, to the gym leaders. So these 12 bug types here would be what I have to bring to the table and nothing else. So again, just join the server, come battle us, let's have some fun. There is going to be an Elite Four and Champion style thing, but honestly, we haven't gotten quite to that point just yet. But your victories will be cataloged, will be recorded, and will be documented for when that gets applied, and there will be a champion. The Elite Four will always be some of the gym leaders, but the champion will be one of you guys if you can beat us. So again, come join us, link down in the description. Alright, without further ado, let's get into this battle. Alright guys, we're here. So, like you can see, these are then the teams that came out of those rosters we just saw. So, as I mentioned, and now I do have a cursor, finally, I did bring Scizor, Empoleon, Espeon, Orbeetle, Armaldo, and Volcarona. And he did bring, in fact, the Fortress. I hope I didn't say Ferrothorn during the roster. If I did, I meant Fortress. Alolan Mux, Salazzle, Scolipede, which I didn't expect the Scolipede, but he did bring it. And I didn't expect the Toxapex, but he did bring it. And then the Crobat, as expected. So, actually, I only fully expected 2 of these Pokemon, maybe 3. Well, no, 3 with the Fortress. The Muk, I was kind of unsure about. And these 2, I just really didn't expect. But anyways, so let's get into this then. I hope you guys can't hear the music. So hang on. I'm still getting used to this whole showdown thing, showdown replay thing. So I do have the pause button at my satisfaction. So the battle started. I led Orbital, and he led Fortress. So let me bring the sound down a little bit. Oh wait! I just realized. Oh, it is recording the desktop audio. Never mind. We're good. It is recording the desktop audio. Wait, is it? I don't think it is actually. Let me fix that. Sorry about this, guys. Very unprofessional. Audio output capture. Add this. There we go. Okay, now it's recording the thing. So, like I was saying, I led Orbital. He led. Oh, he has nicknames on his mons, and I don't because I forget to nickname my Pokemon all the time. So, he leads with Hamburger the Fortress. Now here, I immediately was expecting to go for Stealth Rocks. So I do go out into my Espeon just to bounce those back, and that so good turn one on my part. I mean, fair enough on his, like, whatever, because now he can just rapid spin them away. I do set up the substitute because I know I can take at least one rapid spin without losing the substitute here. Now, I figure he's probably just going straight to Muck, and honestly, yeah. Like, yeah, hang on, sorry, I thought I was actually just going to straight up swap out. But this turn, you can see, like, he goes out to Muck, and I do just go for the Calm Mind, because why not? In case he did stay in with the Fortress, I could start setting up with my Espeon. But the next turn, I'm actually afraid of this Muck might carry, like, Pursuit or something. So in case this Muck does carry, like, Pursuit or something, I do swap out before he has the chance to even pop the substitute. I just go straight out to Scissor. But he does just go for the knockoff here. Getting rid of my Citrus Berry. Like I said, this is a physically defensive Scizor. And afraid of the Fire Punch, I do just U-turn out. But he actually goes for Pursuit, predicting my U-turn, and does a good amount of damage to my Scizor. The Scizor does, of course, have Roost. Still, that hurts, you know? I go to Armaldo, of course, to just go for Earthquake, but expecting... No, yeah, exactly, just to go for Earthquake. But he does just go out to a Fortress, and I'm not touching this Fortress with my Armaldo. So I just go back to Scizor here, because I can both defog away the Stealth Rocks and just Roost up on the following turn. His Gyro Ball does very little damage to me indeed. It would have done a good chunk to Armaldo, though. And on my Roost, he does swap to his Salazzle. Now, this is where the game starts getting more interesting, because, of course, he has a Salazzle here, so what do? I go to Empoleon, like you saw. But, because I'm expecting a Fire-type move, and I know my Empoleon can take those just fine. But he actually goes for the Toxic. And of course, Salazzle having Corrosion, as you can see there. He does Toxic my Empoleon, and that's a really, really big problem. Because now I can just go out to this. The Scald does obviously no damage to the Toxapex, and my Empoleon is actually just taking damage. Empoleon does not get Roost or any form of recovery outside of Leftovers, so having that Toxic on it is, in fact, a pretty big deal. Now I go out to Espeon. Not really sure why. Presumably just because Psychic type. But he swaps out straight up into the Fortress here. So a double switch on his part, and I actually I'm forced to swap out again, this time going to Volcarona, but he swaps out again, going into Muck. And now I have to swap once more, but the Scizor now takes no damage from the knockoff, of course. I can just go for U-turn. Could have pursued me again, but I figured he probably wouldn't. And again, I just go back out to Armaldo. He actually goes for the double knockoff, getting rid of my Assault Vest. Now my Armaldo doesn't take hits nearly as well as I would like it to. Because he did go into Fortress last time, I went for the Stone Edge there, which you saw sadly missed instead of going for the Earthquake. If I'd gone for the Earthquake, this thing would have actually taken a good amount of damage, so I'm surprised he did go out into this. But sadly, like I said, I did miss, so whatever. Now, on this opportunity, I figured, yeah, he would just Baneful Bunker or Scald or something, so I go out to the Orbeetle. And now here, he goes out to Salazzle, but I actually expected him to go out to Muck, even though the Muck has very, very little health, because I figured he'd know that I'm about to start setting up screens, and I figured he'd expect me to expect him to go out into Salazzle, and expect me to go for a light screen. This is actually a misplay on my part, because as you can see, I actually go for Reflect. And again, I go for Reflect because I did expect him to go out to Muck, but that was really stupid of me, because Orbeetle is naturally faster than Muck and not naturally faster than Salazzle. So if I'd just gone for Light Screen there, no matter what, the next turn I could have gone for Reflect on that Muck. Anyways, so all things considered, I definitely should have gone for the Light Screen that turn. Now, it actually does come into play because here he Fire Blasts me. Orbeetle lives on 5%. Orbeetle is such a monster. Such a monster. But if I'd set up the light screen, the Orbeetle would in fact have taken 2 of those to die, which would have actually been relevant because then I could have gotten my light screen up as well. Although if you look at his team, this is actually his only special attacker. So I figured, fuck the light screen, I'm just going to Psychic this thing. And Psychic nearly takes it out. So I'm like, okay, at this point, I'm just going to let my Orbeetle go down. It's done its job. Reflect is up. Salazzle is nearly dead. And I go out to Armaldo because everybody knows, yeah, you can see I'm going for Aqua Jet, taking out that thing, taking out the Salazzle. And everybody knows that Scizor gets Bullet Punch, but most people actually forget that Armaldo gets Aqua Jet. And I kind of banked on that, given that I was originally Assault Vested. I figured he might think that I can live a hit and just try to take me out instead of swapping out the Salazzle, which is ultimately what ended up happening. So the Salazzle goes down to the Aqua Jet, and here I believe he just brings in the Fortress, exactly, because, I mean, my Armaldo can't really touch it, so I just go out to the Scizor again, but he predicts that and swaps out straight into Muck. Now here I make a misplay. I go for Bullet Punch, thinking that, this was really stupid, I don't know how I did the maths in my head, but for whatever reason, I thought Technician boosted Bullet Punch from 40 to 90. I counted the stab twice, basically. I counted stab, and then I added stab onto it again. So I figured if U-turn killed, and it's base 70 without Technician, then Bullet Punch, which is base 90, will definitely kill, because it's also stab. No, that was stupid. U-turn wouldn't have killed, by the way. I don't know if I just said that it would. U-turn would not have killed. It would have left it on like 2%. That's why I did go for Bullet Punch there. He actually finally reveals the Fire Punch. With the Reflect Up, my Scizor lives that no problem. So he does swap out here as I go for the Roost, because I can take another Fire Punch. And this Hamburger's just chilling here. I can't touch him, he can't touch me. But he actually swaps out, predicting my swap into Volcarona, presumably. But that just gives me the opportunity to U-turn and go back straight back out into Espeon. Now, of course, here I'm in the perfect position to just go for a Psychic. He has nothing left that really wants to take it except for this Fortress. And it takes a solid 30% from that, which is a really good amount of damage, if nothing else, because it keeps him from regaining Sturdy off that Leftovers for a while. That allows me to just go into Volcarona here, as he goes into Crobat. He's doing a lot of swaps. By the way, I'm playing this really well. But him going into Crobat does force me to go into my Empoleon, and that does a ridiculous amount of damage. But because I have specially defensive Empoleon, let me pause it here just a second, I didn't immediately make the read that he was in fact a choice-banded Crobat, because that did way too much damage, but I figured, okay, I'm specially defensive, not physically defensive. Empoleon's physical defense isn't all that, so perhaps this is the normal amount of damage for a Crobat to do. But yeah, that should have told me that he is in fact choice-banned. Now, because my Empoleon is toxic, I'm just going to leave it in here, even though it took all that damage, because I don't care about it at this point, honestly. And I'm just going to knock off, get rid of the item. It was, in fact, a choice band, like I said, and that actually is a problem for me, because it allows him to now go for U-turn, I believe. Oh, well, I mean, he still went for Brave Bird that turn, but it allows him to change up his moves anyway. I believe I go out to Scizor. Oh, no, never mind. Sorry, I've got to stop trying to predict what I did. Go out to Armaldo. So, based on that damage, by the way, yeah, and he does just go out to Fortress, but based on that damage, I actually think that my Armaldo might have died to a Brave Bird, because U-turn did 18%. So let me do some quick maths. If U-turn is base 70, and let's call Brave Bird base 180 with... No, it wouldn't have killed. It wouldn't have killed. It would have done nearly 3 times as much. But not quite, and I still had 36%, so it would have had to do 3 times as much, and it would have left me on like 4% or whatever. But that did allow him to get that little extra damage on my Armaldo, because I didn't just Scald with the Empoleon, which would have actually burnt the Crobat as well, possibly anyways. And that would have been, of course, hugely beneficial for me. But that all things considered, that's fine though, because I again missed the stone the way, but honestly I wasn't too bothered by it. It wasn't going to do that much damage. Here I've just had enough of this battle, kind of like, okay, you don't really have anything for my Volcarona anymore. He does go... he did predict my Volcarona and does go out to this. And then I'm not really sure why he goes for the painful bunker there. I figured he'd probably Scald or something, or even swap out, so I go for the Quiver Dance. And then I just go for the Quiver Dance again, because you can't really touch me. But then he reveals Haze. And now the mind games begin. And this is where the battle becomes really interesting. Because I go for Quiver Dance again, he goes for Scald. Scald does basically nothing, you know, because it is a Scald from a Toxapex. Now I go for Psychic, because I figure he's just going to Haze again, right? Psychic gets the special defense drop, does not matter, does a ridiculous amount of damage to the Toxapex. So now, I just go for the quiver dance again, because sooner or later he's going to have to do either Scald or Baleful Bunker against me. So he does just Scald there. Now I'm at +1 with his Volcarona, and I just go for Psychic, because now I'm faster than his entire team with this Volcarona. And I'm pretty sure I can just sweep from here. He goes into this, let me pause. He goes into this thing, and I'm like, okay, this thing gets Speed Boost. I know this thing gets Speed Boost. So what are my options here? I can basically this entire game came down to this one prediction, I think. Although even if it hadn't, I might have been able to win anyways, but his Scolipede might have been able to sweep my own team as well from this position. It's kind of hard to tell because I did still have the Scizor and the Armaldo, but it is entirely possible that that could have happened because it was faster than my Espeon after one speed boost. So I'm like, okay, either he predicts me to go for Quiver Dance, predicting his Protect, and goes for a Rock Slide, or actually he just goes for Protect because he predicts me to just try to take him out. So here I had to make a read, and I did predict the Protect, and I did in fact go for the Quiver Dance. And that just sealed the game right there, because now he is forced to do what he does here in just a second. He does go for the double Protect, but it does fail. I would have been very upset if it hadn't, but whatever, it didn't. And he's not Focus Sash for some reason, so for the Fiery Dance takes it out. Now, nothing on his team is fast enough to stop this Volcarona. Psychic kills off this Crobat, and then, yeah, the Muck is at 8%, so I did want to make sure that this Muck was down very, very low before I started doing this with my Volcarona, which is why I played my Scizor the way I did earlier in this game. And that's just the end of that. Also notice I didn't get a single Fiery Dance boost this entire game, but whatever. Not complaining in the slightest. And that was the end of the game. And very, very good battle. Definitely. I mean, the score makes it seem otherwise, but that's just how this team plays out. That's how bug types play out. I just have to get my team into a position where I can sweep with one of my Pokemon. In this case, it was Volcarona. In other battles, it might be Heracross, or it might be Vivillon, or it might be something else. It just depends on what I'm up against. Again, in this case, it happened to be Volcarona because it just matched up really well against his team. But thank you so much, Flappy Gold, for that is the guy's handle, by the way, Flappy Gold, for this battle. He is like I mentioned, he is the Poison type gym leader. By all means, go check it. Go again. This is the last time I'll say it in the video, but I do think I should say it because, you know, link in the description. Check out the server. Let's get some challenges going, guys. Very, very, very good battle once again. Bug type gym leader against the Poison type gym leader. 4-0 to the Bug type. Again, but so much closer than it seems. Like, if the Volcarona wasn't able to sweep there, that Scolipede could have easily cleaned up, and that Crobat was still a problem at this point. Because it was faster than my Espeon, it would have killed my Armaldo from that range. I think my Scizor should have been able to kind of deal with everything he had, because physically defensive Scizor, after the Salazzle went down, did do really well. But, you know, it's kind of, it was impossible to really know for sure. Anyways, once again, thank you so much, Flappy Gold, for the battle. Fantastic battle, dude. And yeah, I'm gonna leave it here, guys. Hope you enjoyed this video. I'm not going to go into that much detail about everything regarding the server, by the way, in every one of these battles I do. Although I'll just mention the server every time real quick. Yeah, I think that's everything I wanted to say. Thank you so much for watching. Hope you enjoyed this first battle over on the... Wow, I'm stupid. I didn't say the name of the server. It is the... I can't actually remember. I made the server and I can't remember the name. Alrighty then. It is the... I'm sure I put it in text at the start, by the way, of the video. It is called the Competitive League something. The Competitive League Challenge. So the idea, again, being we have this competitive roster style thing going, and anyone is welcome to join. Anyone is welcome to try to whoop our ass. Yeah, thank you so much for watching. Hope you enjoyed. Hope you'll join the server. And I hope you'll join us for the next one.